Oh my god, guys. Hello and welcome. Today I'm finally reviewing Vinland Saga, episode 1 of season 2. I love this show. Full disclosure, I have been reading the manga since its inception. This is one of my favorite seinen anime series ever. This show is hugely popular. The manga is hugely popular for good reason. It has amazing characters, a very decent to amazing plot. Character development is very apparent throughout the entire run of this series, and it's all done generally well in a nice, coherent manner that flows very nicely. And I love this show. So there will be spoilers for this episode. I won't go too deep into the episode actually, because there's not much. Strangely enough, there's not a whole lot to talk about the episode, but there is some things that you need to be aware of. So I would recommend go watching the first season. It is on Netflix if you're worried about going to some weird pirate site or Crunchyroll. Netflix does have the first season. I'm not happy particularly that Netflix is also in charge of distributing season 2, which is God, so sick of Netflix. Anyway, that's a whole different problem. But let's get into the episode. So yes, spoilers. Also, belating that, if you're not aware, if you have watched season 1 of Vinland Saga and you have not read the manga, so I'm all the way up to date on the manga. This is one of like the most character development changes arcs of all time in any series I've seen, where it just goes like a complete 180. But it's not done like bad. It all makes sense. Everything makes sense that happens in this arc after Thorfinn ran away from Canute and what happened with Aslan. This is one of the I've never seen a protagonist have so much like great character development in the series other than this. I don't think at the top of my head I cannot compare it to anything I've seen in a long time. Maybe Berserk comes to mind. Berserk's like an entirely different story, but it has like massive amounts of character development as well. But this is just on a even on a whole new level. But so what I'm really trying to say is don't expect what you expected from season 1. I don't want to give like massive spoilers after, like I'm just this episode, not everything in this arc, but don't expect like a battle scene in series right now, all right, in this season 2. I don't know if there's 24 episodes or 12 episodes. I'm gonna assume it's 24. It is from what I'm seeing, how slow this first episode was, that they're probably gonna take it that way. It's gonna be around 24 episodes, like the first season. So you're gonna take this slow, which I actually find I think that's a good choice actually, not to go so fast, because what happens in this arc, little spoilers, so many like introspective character changes between other characters that are new and that we know, particularly Thorfinn and our mainstay. Like in this episode, Einar, he is our new protagonist. Along with Thorfinn, they're going to be together throughout the entire manga up to now in this season, up to now where it is in the manga in the anime. Jeez, I don't want to get all fumbled up. Um, and it's so just don't expect like crazy battle and blood in this season. There is that, but it's more of a character driven show from now on. There's a lot more stuff about philosophy, what it means to be human, what it means to be a slave, what it means to come together as a people community and do things together, and how to live as people, and stuff philosophy about that, and it's really good. I love it so much. Let's get into the episode. So this episode, from what I remember in the manga, this episode is entirely, not entirely, most of it though is anime original, um, except in the manga we don't get a lot of introspection about Einar's past and what happened before he came to the farm and how he became a slave. This episode it takes an entire episode to like go through a bit of Einar's past. What's up with his family? What's up with him? How did he get here on this farm? And that's the entire episode. There's honestly not much for me to talk about other than his family. His family aren't technically important plot wise, but they are important for Einar's psyche and how he views himself and the world around him. So I would say it's important to know that yes, his family did die. He did watch them die. Very sad about that fact. And Aenor trying to like come to the realization that he is a slave, sort of accepting his role as a slave, which is probably something you shouldn't do. And how like honestly terrible it is to have like no freedom. Yeah, but Aenor is gonna take it in stride. He's gonna try and do his best. He's gonna do what his mom wanted to do, what his mom told him to live. Do anything you can to live, and that's where we're gonna take that arc in further into the future. Again, I don't want to spoil what happens after, and that's basically an entire episode just going through Aenor's past. We don't get to see like his childhood, but we get to see up to like when he got captured and got into slavery. I like this. I'm okay with this anime adaptation. We don't get a lot from Einar's past in when he's introduced. So I'm happy with this decision. They want to take the series slow. I'm fine with that because this arc is very tailored to that way of writing where it's much slower, less fast paced, not a lot of actual like fighting. It's a completely different setting than anything in season 1 if you've watched it. Massively different. So if they want to take their time to build up our characters, I mean I'm very happy about that. It's also a plus. I'm going to talk about the OP of the show. Notice how the OP and the details of our opening are drastically different from the last two. How they were very upbeat and battle themed, and it gets you pumped. This opening's a lot less. It's more somber, a lot more melancholy. And that's representative of the arc that we're going into, and I love that. The visual representation of what happens in the OP to the way it shows the characters that we're going to come to know later in this season are nearly perfect. I love it. I like the music, it's very great. We can talk about the sound design in the episode and how it tailors to the themes that we're going to be seeing throughout this season as well. And it's like I could see the future. It's oh my god. I hope they continue with this, right? And they don't fuck it up. I have faith though that they won't. So I love the music. It fits almost perfectly with the scenes frame by frame of the things that are happening on screen. I love it. The animation on point. I don't even need to. It is. There's just one point in the animation where there's like 3D. Very. It's like 3 seconds. It's like ooh. I don't know if that's good or not. 3D animation is finally starting to catch up to 2D, but there's some still frames too in the 2D. But it all tailors itself to this show very well. I think it flows generally smoothly. So if you're not, I think I'm done rambling now. Uh, I love this show. The music, the animation. I do love the characters. So far, there's not much to talk about the plot. It's only the first episode, so we'll really get into it in the next like 10 episodes. Like it's gonna go, and we'll see what like happens. I don't want to spoil everything because it's so great. At the end of the episode, we do see Thorfinn and what he's doing. Okay, guys, that's it. I'm done rambling. I'm sorry. I'm so excited to be reviewing this show. I didn't think it was coming out this season right now. I'm happy it is. I should have been looking at it before. I wasn't. I was busy with other anime and stuff like that. I'm hoping this review comes out before the second episode. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to be reviewing this series throughout its end. I don't care. I love this show in this series so much. I want to talk about it. I'm super interested. I hope you all get interested too. Take a look if you haven't taken a look at the first season. Go do that. If you don't care for the anime, go read the manga. Absolutely, go read it. It's just as good. You just don't get that, the sound. You don't get the sound production. Obviously, when you're reading, it's another thing that like escalates the anime and our viewing potential of a series. So just do whatever your preference is. Go, please do that. Get all caught up if you want, or don't get caught up at all. We'll be watching and reviewing this series until its entirety. Okay, I'm done. I'm done rambling, guys. Thank you for listening. You guys have a nice day. See ya.